this is Brandon with Moonlit Fly Fishing. I want to welcome you tonight to another one of our fly tying nights. Today we're going to be tying up for you an effective pattern that we've had a lot of success with this year. It's the Perdigon Soft Hackle Nymph. You can tie this in a variety of colors. Staying true to who we are, we'll tie this in purple, but I'll make sure and show you a couple different color combinations at the end of this that you can take and use for yourself. Before we get started, I want to make sure and invite you to like your favorite videos. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you like about the flies or the channel. Please comment on your favorite videos. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you receive notifications of future videos in the future. So we're going to start today and we're going to tie this on a Moonlit Tagatta. This is the size 14 and it's the 501, ML 501. You can tie this in a bunch of different sizes. 14 is my go-to size. It's my most used size. You can tie it larger or smaller. I've tied them all the way down to a size 18 and as big as a size 10. So we'll go ahead and get started with the bead now. And our bead for this one, we're going to use a metallic purple. We really want the purple in this pattern to really kind of stand out, and so we're going to use that purple bead. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the vise so we can get started. So I'm going to be using the 12/0 classic wax purple thread. So I'm just going to start this back here behind the hook or bead. I don't really make a big base on it up there at the front. I'm going to hold this thread at a about 45-degree angle so I can create a nice smooth underbody. We'll wrap that all the way back to the bend of the hook, snip off that thread. Here we're going to tie in our tail. I'm going to use some Coq de Leon tailing material. This is the dark ginger. I'm just going to take a couple fibers. I don't want a super thick tail, but I don't want it to be too sparse either. So I don't count the fibers. There's just a good small clump. Okay, I'm going to measure this out. I want it to be roughly about the length of the hook shank and tie that in. I tie it in at an angle, and that's going to allow me to slide that material up to the top with the next couple wraps and put it right on the very top of the shank. And it's important that it's on the top of the shank because we want this tail to go right off the back side of this. Usually I don't have a problem with that bead. Having a little issue today. Okay, now I'm just going to take and finish securing that down. Now I'm going to tie in my wire. For the wire, I'm using Semper Fly 0.2mm purple. This just helps accentuate the purple color in this fly. Okay, I'm just going to wrap that in on the side. Again, I'm going to use that wire to create a nice smooth underbody. We'll wrap this all the way back to the tail again. Once I get to the tail, I'm going to kind of pull that up. Then I'm going to pull my tail up. I'm going to give it 2 good wraps behind that tail and snug that up in. This is going to help make sure that that tail stays vertical coming out the back end. Okay, so for the body on this one, I like the iridescent blue. Okay, with the purple thread, it's going to change the color of this just a little bit. So you can change this color, the scheme of this fly, by changing the Perdigon body material you use or the thread base that you're using. This one's been a productive fly for us. So I'm going to take somewhat loose wrap and get that over. Now I'm just going to secure that down. And then I'm going to create a little bit of a taper to this body with my thread. So I'm going to wrap rearward almost all the way back, and this I want to get back there to my tie-in point, and then forward again, and then back. And I'm going to do this several times, creating this taper, and this is going to give me a nice smooth taper to this body. I don't want to taper it all the way to the end of this body here, because if I do that, the wraps aren't even at the very end because it's going to go over the top of that. I'm just going to take and half hitch this right there at that point. Now I'm going to take my Perdigon body material and I'm just going to wrap this, and I'm going to use my rotary feature. Makes it really nice, even wrap, making sure I don't clip it on that hook point. Oh, lost grip of that. Making sure each wrap is right on top of the other so I get a nice good cover with this body material. And you can use this in a bobbin as well. That makes it a lot easier, to be honest, but where I change the color pretty frequently, I just almost just cut off a strip and do it this way. Got butterfingers today though. Do this one last time here. Guys are making me nervous. Sweaty fingers, not gripping this. Make sure you leave a comment and tell me how funny that is. Make sure and like the video while you're at it. It's a really, really pretty blue. I'm going to take just so that I don't do that again. I use my hackle pliers to grip that, so we'll get this finished off here. You can see at the end of this, if I wrap this forward anymore, it's just going to slide off of that. And that's why I make sure and leave a nice space in that taper at the end. So now I've got that secured in. Trim it off. Set this to the side. Now I'm going to wrap this wire, and it's really nice with the rotary feature to get a nice smooth taper to that wire. Now I'm just going to take and helicopter that off. Okay. Take my thread. I'm just going to give it a good couple wraps right there. Now I'm going to put in my Thorax. I'm going to use the UV Purple, okay, by Vicuna Dubbing. I don't want a whole lot. I'm just going to take a small pinch. Okay, just a small pinch like that. Before I start and dub that, I want to make sure and put some of this Wonder Wax on that thread. It's going to help it stick and give me a nice little dubbing rope. Okay, see, that's good. I like this Vicuna dubbing because it gives me a nice good buggy look, a lot like a hare's ear would. I have a wider variety of colors and it seems to be a little bit more buggy to me. Okay, so you can see I didn't crowd up into that bead, and that's important because now I'm going to take this Whiting Unique Variant Brown from Whiting Farms. It's a hen saddle, and I really like this one. It's got a lot of sizes on there for me. I don't think I'll ever run out of size 14s and 16s. There's quite a few on there, which is abnormal. I'm just going to take this, I'm going to trim off or pull off all that fuzz down here. I don't need it. Okay. Now I have my feather. When I tie this in, I tie it in this way and I'm going to wrap this way. So I actually, for me, I know it takes a little more time. I'm going to pull these feathers off of this side because I want that stem to lay flat. This is going to help give me more control with my wraps, less cleanup in the end, and give me a nice clean soft hackle. Okay, I'm going to take and put that in there twice, and then in front just to lock it in. You can see I've got that tie-in point right there. At this point I just got to come in, snip it off. I'm going to trim down that hackle stem. It's longer than I need. Get in the way, set my thread off to the side. Now I'm going to take these hackle pliers. These are the ones I like for my soft hackles, especially with a more delicate hackle like a starling. Okay, now I'm going to do a few more wraps where I only have the one side. That's okay. I've got plenty of feather here. You can see I'm going to doctor this up as I wrap, pull them back, but I want to make sure I don't trap any of these fibers because I'm going to use that hackle stem to palmer these feathers back. And I do about 4 to 5 wraps usually. I like a fairly full soft hackle that's a little bit out of the norm. Okay, I'm going to secure that in, and then one in front. That just locks everything in. You can see I don't really have to doctor this up really at all because of that technique. So now I'm just going to create a little bit of a collar there, fill in that bead. Now I'll take my whip finish tool. I'm going to do a 3-turn whip. 1, 2, 3. Okay, at this point you can take and put some UV glue down on your bead and thread, cure that down. This is going to do a couple things. It's going to secure that knot. I'm not really worried about the knot. That's not a problem, but it does help and treat the bead so that it has a little bit of protection against chipping. So again, I want to thank you for watching. I want to invite you to like your favorite videos, drop us a comment, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for future notifications. and make sure and share your favorite videos with your friends. So thank you for watching tonight, and have a great evening.